Hi 5 here, and today we're going to do a deck discussion of pretty much the top tier decks and where they stand in the meta, and how each deck beats each other and whatnot. Alright, so I'm going to get into it. First off, best deck of the format, no doubt, is Plants. Hyper Librarian, obviously, broke Plants. Hyper Librarian, you could draw 2-3 cards a turn and just no problem. You pot of greed off it and it's nothing. And the deck always has options, whether it's 1-for-1 with Dandelion, Reborn with Flown Fire, just always has options. And it can always draw out of dead hands, especially with Tengu. Tengu with Glow Up Bulb, it's a Librarian. Plus you get another Tengu, no top card for Bulb, sink into a level 5, so another Librarian or anything, probably a Catastrophe to attack over the monster. And then get another Tengu in. That's 2 Syncos and a Tengu. Plus you drew a card off Librarian. So that's pretty nutty. So, yeah, that's for Plants. And then the next best deck of the format, I believe, is Gravekeepers. Alright, this deck pretty much is the hate of Plants. Necro Valley shits on Plants, it shuts down half their cards. It shuts down Debris, shuts down Spore, Reborn, probably 10-15 cards in Plant decks. And Royal Tribute, that's the nuts. It's discard 3 cards from a plant, from the Plant matchup, and 1 for 3, it's way too good. Plus, there's also the Recruiter, the Descendant, Loop, destroy a card once per turn, and attack 2000, and they set, you go Summon Recruiter, pop, search for Recruiter, they set, Summon Recruiter, pop, it's nuts. Alright, next deck that we believe is good is Agents. Agents are really good. They just came out, pretty much they have, it's a lot like Teledad actually. They have the Dark Arm to the deck, destroy a card once per turn. They have a Stratos, actually better than Stratos because this is a tuner, You could go Venus. If you already have this, you go Venus, summon Shine Balls, sink into Trish. It's way too good. And if you just have Venus, you go summon all the Shine Balls, go Birdman, bounce the Venus, sink into a Trish. It can get out Trish really easily. And also Christia, it's the main part of the deck. Christia shuts down a big part of Plants or Tengu Synchro in general. Christia is way too good. Alright, next deck that we think is good is Macro. Alright, this deck just recently came out at Rhode Island, I think it was, it top 8'd, but I think it's really good because it beats Gravekeepers because of Recruiter and Commandant Stele. Those are all a bunch of big cards and Gravekeepers, and it shuts it down. And then there's Plants, it shuts down not even kidding, half their deck. It shuts Avarice, Reborn, Dandelion, Spore, Glow Up Bulb. It's just way too many cards. And then, yeah. Alright, so those are for the tier 1 decks, what I think's tier 1 at least, are the best of the decks. And then, here we got the tier 1.5. Like always, these will always be tier 1.5, Samurais. They have Kagamusha. First turn they could go United, Kageki, summon Kagamusha, 2 counters, Synchro. It's just way too good. If they go first turn and they open good, they're gonna win. If they open with Xian, it's pretty tough to get around, So Samurais will pretty much always be up there, but I don't think they're top tier because they obviously lose to Plants. Plants don't really rely on their spells, so Xian doesn't really do much to them. Plants could just go, set Raikou and pop Xian. So, yeah. Alright, next deck that I think's 1.5, or not one of the best decks, but still good, is X-Sabers. They've always been up there, but, just never really have won. there's decks to counter them. Like, I think that Gravekeepers have a good matchup against deck Sabers. You know, when I was playing Gravekeepers, I never really lost to them. And it's just, yeah. Alright, and last deck of discussion that recently became big, at least in my eyes, hasn't really became big in general, but in my eyes, is Fish OTK. Fish OTK, if they go first and they get out Coelacanth, they have the possibility of discarding the whole hand with Trish. It's ridiculous. Plus your draw, because you can synchro with Formula on their turn. Pretty much what you need to do is you Coelacanth, like, get 3 Oystermeisters, Fishborg, and, like, it's really complicated OTK, but what you do pretty much is you have, whatchamacallit? You use DeLorean with Symbol of Heritage, and keep bouncing, Symbol, and in the end result you have Trishula, and Trishula being brought out, like, 6 times, which is pretty ridiculous. But yeah. Alright, so next what I'm going to talk about is side deck cards for each of these decks. Okay, so against plants, what you're going to side deck, what is good to get side deck against plants is Maxi. Maxi, like, is way good against plants. You know, if they're going to go a huge play, like, say they're going to Lone Fire Reborn, they go Lone Fire, Tribute, you go Maxi, you draw a card, they get their Dandelion, whatever, but you draw a card, and you stop their whole play. It's ridiculous. And sometimes if they're a bad player, you know, they'll keep going, and you'll draw, like, 5-6 cards, and Maxi's way good. Oh, and there's ZD Crow to side against this deck, too, but I personally like Maxi better. Alright, and then GKs, you got Malevolence, you got Crossouts. You know, Malevolence are good against a lot of decks, like, they're good against macro too, Malevolence. Because macro always has Deep Fissure, macro, and like 2-3 back rows, so you get a huge plus off it. And then against agents, there's not really much to side deck against them. You have to side deck like specific cards, like Light Imprisoning Mirror, but you know that's only good for this one deck, which, you know, you want to side deck a card that's good against more than just this one deck, you know? Like, yeah, there's nothing really much to side against agents. Alright, then you got Samurais. There's countless things to side against this. There's Puppet Plants, there's Kinetics, there's, I don't know. I don't think Samurais are that great. And then X-Sabers, a single Thunder King, like, completely wrecks X-Sabers. You know, it stops the Dark Soul, it stops one of their Synchros, it's just way good. Then, yeah, there's not... Against this deck, you have Mask Restrict, but I don't know, that's alright at best. But, yeah, that's about it. So, yeah. Like this video, comment, rate, subscribe, and that's about it. Thank you.
Please love our channel.
Please love our channel, okay? Alright.